I'm here in Italy at the famous GP circuit Malpensa on the Honda launch to test out the new 2022 CRF250R. Now this model is all new this year, right from the ground up. It's been 4 years since they've had a serious big model change like this. First of all, let's just say that I'm impressed. I don't want to go too much into the spec, but I'd just like to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what I really enjoyed, what I felt on the bike, out on track, my impressions, some good, some bad. So Honda have basically taken the 250 engine and put it into the 450 model. So the chassis, the frame, the swinging arm, you know, all those things are exactly the same as on the 450, maybe the bottom cradle's a little bit different. What's really interesting on this bike is that they've gone to town, they really concentrated on the bottom to mid. There's no extra horsepower on top. That does sound, you know, like a negative, but actually, you know, Honda really have ticked the boxes. When the bike first come out a few years ago, the new model change, let's say, you know, with the twin silencers or the twin exhausts and the new fuel injection, the bike then, it was missing something. It was missing that bottom end. It was missing the drive from the turn, and everybody raved about how good it was on top, but how hard it was to ride out on track. So it seems like they've really focused on getting that drivability out of a 250F. Now we all know that horsepower rules in this class, but actually the way that this bike is gelled together with all the little details that they've put in regarding within the engine gets a massive thumbs up. So when you're out on track, you do actually feel how torquey and how much drive the bike has got. It's got so much more grunt to it, and the top end power obviously is the same. It could be improved. There, I feel that the bike would be improved if, you know, once you get an aftermarket exhaust, maybe you play about with the mapping. But actually, this is such a good bike right from the get-go. Normally, he was always on the fence of saying that with the CRF250R, but this year you really do feel quite confident, or I really do feel quite confident in saying that the bike in standard form is a really good competitive 250. So the bike's lighter, it's 3 kilograms lighter, the wheelbase is shorter, the seat, you know, it's a little bit lower, the ground clearance is higher. Obviously we've got a single exhaust, we've not got the double exhaust. The fuel injection as well, the injector is at a different position, it's 60-degree angle instead of 30. The intake is much larger, so you know the gearbox has been refined. Most importantly, the clutch as well has been beefed up, so you've got now you've got 9 plates, which I believe is something like a 21% increase in durability. When I was riding the bike today, I didn't feel that the clutch faded out at all. One of the negatives, I suppose, regarding on the bike is that it hasn't got the hydraulic clutch, it's got a cable clutch, but actually the pull on the clutch is still brilliant. Probably the reason why they didn't do that is to keep the weight down, because they want to keep this bike light. The lateral flex, now we talked a lot about this on the 450 range last year, but the lateral flex on this bike, it's so nimble, it's so good, you really can place the bike where you like out on track. And the suspension, you know, before they'd taken a bit of criticism, Honda had taken some criticism in their suspension and it had been quite floaty to the front, to the rear. This year, on this model, the bike is so balanced. So at no point did I have an issue out on track when I was landing, when I was accelerating out of the turns, and when I was coming into the turns on the brakes. For me personally, being a little bit of a bigger lad these days, I did have to adjust the suspension on the front end. I went 3 clicks harder. I also went 3 clicks in on the rebound as well, and on the high speed compression as well. I did wind that in. Now for me personally, it just basically made the bike stay higher and harder for longer, so when I was coming down some of the faster hills, it did allow me to be a little bit more settled and comfortable. Regarding on the mapping, so the mapping, you've got 3 options. You know, first is standard, second is a little bit mellow, and third is the aggressive or the fast map. For me, I tried 1 and 2 straight away, and then just jumped straight onto map 3. Map 3 for me is the map to have. The reason being is that on the bike when I was riding it, I found that I was short shifting a little bit in certain sections. But that didn't happen once I put the aggressive mode on, because it just allowed me to use third gear, even on the uphill pulls. You know, that was it. It was third gear was more than enough. I didn't feel like I had to clutch it out of the turns, so I just left it in that all day. Regarding on the launch control, I did try the launch control. You definitely can feel the difference between the 1, 2 and 3. I did find that that probably 2 was the better one. So for me, if I was to purchase this bike, how would I improve it? I think what I would be doing is I'd really concentrate on the air filter. You know, it did seem that, you know, with the better airflow is, you know, maybe an aftermarket company might come out with something a little bit more improved over the standard air filter. I would definitely go for a different exhaust system, one which would give you a little bit more top, and I would certainly work on refining the ECU, just so you could just put a little bit more on the top end. And the reason why I say that is because you just feel that, you know, that it definitely could be improved just a little bit more on the top end, which would really make this such a really good overall package. Again, I can't say enough positive things about the bike. For me, from the presentation that I heard last night to riding it out on track, you know, it ticked them boxes and it did exactly what they said it would do.